So, you're considering a move to Seattle, but with all the moving parts, where should you start? How do you ensure a successful home purchase and keep your sanity? Do you decide on a location first? Or maybe you get pre-approved. Should you plan a trip to scout out the area or do all the work online? Today, we're gonna go over the 6 steps our recent clients took to successfully make the move to Seattle from out of state, and what part of the process they spent the majority of time on to make things more efficient and minimize their stress. Natalie and Richard lived in Salt Lake City and had recently accepted new jobs in the Seattle area. So there was a bit of a time crunch to make a home purchase, sell their current home, and make a cross-country move in time for the jobs to start. First things first, they filled out our buyer questionnaire with over 40 questions. Yes, 40 questions to help both of us better understand their needs. This had everything from, why are you making the move? Is this your first home purchase? What are your 5 must-haves? How about your 5 can't stands? What's the length of time for owning the home? What's your desired timeline? And it even covered the fears and concerns that you might have with the process. This really helps Natalie and Richard understand their goals and gave all of us a roadmap for making this a smooth process. Next, it was important for Natalie and Richard to get pre-approved so they had clarity around the price range that fit their lifestyle and their budget. Now, when getting pre-approved, does that mean you're committing to that lender? Absolutely not. We always recommend to get approved with at least 2 lenders so that you can compare and get the best rate and terms. Natalie and Richard submitted all their documentation to their current bank, who shops their own loans, as well as to our preferred mortgage broker, who can shop multiple different lenders. They wanted to keep their monthly payments in a certain price range, so it was especially helpful to see how their monthly mortgage payments would be affected if they bought down the rate, either on their own or negotiated that with the seller. The third thing in the process was identifying homes that fit their wish list. They had narrowed down their ideal place to a condo within a 20-minute commute time to work and preferably with a water view. However, there was a challenge. When purchasing a condo, you're not only purchasing the unit itself, you're buying into a community called the Homeowners Association. And with that comes rules and regulations, particularly regarding the types of pets that are allowed, among other things. Natalie and Richard have a cherished 60-pound bloodhound named Brandy, and it was going to be a deal breaker if she was not allowed in the unit. So it was crucial that we do our research up front to ensure that Brandy would have a home too. The 4th step was honing in on the location that fits your lifestyle. There were many areas that would allow for the 20-minute commute. So the next challenge was determining where they actually wanted to live. Now, this part took more dialogue with Natalie and Richard to determine what things were important to them in their day-to-day activities outside of work. Seattle has so many great communities that all offer different things. Based on our discussion, we were able to narrow down the search, and now it was time for an in-person tour. Natalie planned a trip out to Seattle for a couple of days. We toured a variety of areas and talked about the pros and cons of each. This leads to the next step, which is to remain open and make adjustments. Have you ever heard the saying, buyers are liars? This isn't intentional. It's actually a natural part of the home buying process. As Natalie viewed the homes in person, she was able to make some adjustments and decided to expand her search to townhomes. Because she had done the proper planning ahead of time, she was able to maximize her trip to Seattle and went back home with a list of top favorites that met her criteria. However, she had one more challenge. Richard hadn't seen any of these homes in person, and although they were aligned on most of their goals, he was leaning towards being even closer to work. This presented a dilemma. Living closer to work would mean a convenient commute time, but it also meant that it would be further away from the day-to-day activities that fit their lifestyle. So we revisited their priorities from the questionnaire in the beginning. What was most important? We talked about what their current lifestyle was like, and through that, discovered how important it was to have something similar in Seattle. Then, Richard made the trip out to Seattle for a job meeting, and we toured the top homes. as well as a few others that had come on the market. They were able to decide on a lower Queen Anne condo with a gorgeous view of the water. It fit their monthly budget, it allowed dogs of all sizes, felt like it was in a neighborhood but was walkable to a lot of amenities, was very close to a large park, and was under a 15-minute commute time. Because most of the time was spent on the front end identifying their goals and desires, they were able to maximize the trips to Seattle and find a home that fit their needs within their timeline. They simultaneously were working on selling their current home in Salt Lake City, so making the purchasing process as efficient as possible was key to minimizing their stress. It helped save a lot of time and headache. Making a move is stressful. Making a cross-country move involving selling a home and starting new jobs is even more stressful. However, if you follow this process and have a team with years of experience to help guide you, you too can have a successful move while keeping your sanity. If you liked this video, please tap that like and subscribe button. And if you're considering a move to the greater Seattle area, we'd love to have a conversation and see if we'd be a good fit to help make the process smooth and stress-free. See you next time.